I was invited to speak to you today because I'm a millennial workplace expert, which is interesting because I'm almost too old to be a millennial, and I don't even work in a workplace. I work in my bedroom. So there's that. And it's also interesting because what I want to talk to you about today is how the fact that I've been speaking about millennials for 5 years, and I think what I've been saying has been wrong. Instead of telling millennials to find their purpose and hustle to reach their dreams, I actually think we should be telling them, quite simply, to slow down and spend more time with your friends. In preparing for this talk, I remembered what it was like to be a freshman back at Wesleyan in 2001. Here's a photo of my student ID. Now, I know what you're thinking. This dude is giving millennials advice? No wonder our generation is so screwed. But I look back at that time at Wesleyan with love. It was 2001, so most of us didn't even have cell phones yet. We used landlines. Yeah, landlines. I remember having a sheet of paper on my desk with all my friends' phone extensions. Once that sheet of paper was filled up, that was pretty much it on making new friends. It was like, well, my phone extension list is all full. Maybe next semester we can hang out. If you didn't make plans to meet up with your friends before going out, chances are you'd spend the rest of the night looking for them. There was no iMessage. We just had those whiteboards outside our dorm room. Someone would leave you a message, dude, where are you? Then you'd go to your friend's dorm room, dude, where are you? I'm here. This back and forth could last the whole night or even the whole weekend. It was like the original Snapchat snap streak. Of course, you'd eventually find your friends roaming campus looking for a house party. You'd be walking with a pack of 10 people and run into another pack of 10 people. Someone would be like, I heard there's a party on 60 Fountain. I heard 84 High Street. I heard back to Hewitt. Party on Vine. Sometimes you'd get there and there wasn't even a party happening. People would be like, nah, man, there's no party here. Get the hell off my porch. I have a midterm tomorrow. There was something very meaningful about that pre-cell phone, pre-social media time for me. I felt very present. I knew who my friends were. I spent a lot of time with them listening to CDs, in the library, studying on Foss Hill, loving life. Fast forward almost 20 years, and my friends are spread out all across the country. Many of them are married and have children. Meanwhile, I spent much of last year sad and kind of depressed. This is interesting since my nickname is Smiley, and I have 4,868 Facebook friends. My social media depicts this life of a successful author, traveling around the world, speaking, helping people figure out their purpose. I bump into people, and the first thing they say to me, without even asking how I am, is, Smiley, you're killing it. Your life is dope. You're awesome. I really want to tell them that I'm lonely, that I'm tired of traveling, that I feel like I'm never doing enough, that I'm constantly comparing myself to others, that I miss my friends, that despite how good everything looks online, I often feel the opposite. I often feel sad, overwhelmed, exhausted, and burned out. And I'm not alone in feeling this way. According to Gallup, 70% of millennials experience burnout, and 30% are always or frequently burned out at work. Data shows increasing rates of anxiety, depression, loneliness, and even suicide among young people. I've come to the realization that there's a good chance that your friend, who by the looks of things on social media is doing better than everyone else, is in fact struggling more than everyone else. And I think this pressure to work with purpose, the pressure to share your work and build a following, and the pressure to hustle and be out there killing it is toxic for young people. In many cases, it's ruining our lives. I think it's high time we said, enough. So here are 3 shifts I'm making that can help cure millennial burnout. Shift number 1, from purpose to patience. In my previous TEDx talk a few years ago, I called millennials the purpose generation. I got up here and quoted statistics noting that 50% of us would take a pay cut to find work that matches our values, and 90% want to use our skills for good. But this obsession with purpose is driving too many millennials to never be content with their current job or career situation, to always be worrying about whatever's next. Everyone deserves meaningful work, but finding out what you're good at what you enjoy, takes time, sometimes years. You can't just swipe right and make an impact. I think patience is a far more useful virtue for millennials. So if your job isn't perfect, good. If your boss annoys you, good. Welcome to 2,000 years of being an adult. Instead, focus on what you're learning. Understand that every piece is an opportunity that's part of a larger puzzle. Now, I used to complain about how much my job in federal government sucked. But 15 years since graduating college, I realized that it was that very job that launched my career as an author and speaker. Had I not had that challenging opportunity, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be who I am today. I can actually see now that I discovered my purpose from the jobs that were most frustrating for me, most imperfect, and most out of alignment. Shift number 2, from followers to friends. I used to advise millennials to find believers and build a following for their idea. Now I think it's far more important to know who your real friends are and spend as much time with them as you possibly can. With the prevalence of social media, we're more connected than ever before, but we have lost sense of who truly matters. The average American adult has only one real friend and spends just 4% of their time with their friends. 4%. Research shows that a lack of strong social bonds carries a greater health risk than smoking or obesity. So I may have 4,868 Facebook friends, but I dearly miss being at Wesleyan back in 2001, long before Mark Zuckerberg was pissing off the free world. I miss that feeling of knowing exactly who my best friends were and seeing them every single day. I miss my friend Levi. Levi started Camp Grounded, which is a summer camp for adults that's a digital detox in nature. And at camp, we don't use digital technology. We don't talk about work. We don't ask what you do. We use nicknames instead of real names. We don't have time. We don't ask people how old they are. The result is a community where people can be their true selves. They can connect authentically. They can channel that inner child, that inner creative voice that for many has been quiet and dormant since they were just a little kid. And I got to be a counselor at 13 different Camp Groundeds over the past 5 years, bringing together hundreds of people, and I saw what happens when people are given the time and space to be vulnerable and courageous, or as we call it at camp, vulnerageous. And in 2016, Levi was diagnosed with a stage 4 glioblastoma, a brain tumor, and he died of cancer 1 year later. He was only 32 years old. But he taught me that the road to connection is paved by getting your dopamine in real life, by spending time with others offline, when no one is watching, when the story is happening in real time, not on Instagram. So if you have someone in your life that you haven't spoken to in a while, call them. Meet up with them. Tell your friends you love them every single day. Play with your friends as much as you possibly can. Shift number 3, from hustle to home. I used to tell millennials to hustle, hustle, hustle toward big, audacious career goals. Now I say, slow down and plant roots. Instead of trying to check all the professional boxes as quickly as possible, focus on the simple, mundane rituals that make up your personal life. The little things that bring you joy, not the peak experiences, the small things. Stop swiping. Instead of dating 6 people, holding out for someone better, date one person for a few months and see if you actually like them. Delete Maria Bumble or Dennis Tinder from your phone. Sorry, Maria and Dennis. Instead of going out, stay in on Friday night. Wear sweatpants and slippers. Get some good sleep. Figure out what home means to you. I'm not saying buy a home. No millennials I know can afford to do that. But I am saying figure out what home means to you. Instead of being a digital nomad, constantly on the go, try finding one place to live for a while and build a community there. I actually recently moved into a co-living house and it cured my burnout. Instead of traveling all the time, scrolling on Facebook, wondering who out of my 4,000 friends is actually a friend, I wake up every day excited to talk to 2 or 3 people that I know I actually like in real life. I spend less time scrolling and more time cooking dinner with my roommates. My friend Levi used to say, wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. So be here, not wherever's next. Not in Brooklyn or San Francisco, and I've lived in both those places for the record. Not in Portland or Austin or LA or Boulder or Bali or Tokyo, and I've wanted to live in all those places for the record. Be right here, right now, not wherever looks cool. I've now learned that the true purpose of life is not to find your purpose, as so many young people I meet are obsessed with doing. Damn all those millennial self-help authors with cool nicknames. I learned that the true purpose of life is to be in a constant state of learning and self-discovery. The true purpose of life is to be present with the people you love most while you are lucky enough to have them. What matters is not what you're going to achieve and how fast you can achieve it. What matters is the person sitting next to you. What matters is the person you roamed around campus with last night looking for a dope house party, only to realize that the dopest part of the night was just chilling with your friends on the way to a super lame house party. And here's a little secret Levi taught me that I wish I knew when I was younger. If you spend more time with your friends, you will get closer to your purpose. If you spend more time with your friends, you will feel less burned out. If you spend more time with your friends, you might not change the world, but you will change the lives of one or two other people, and that is all you need to do. Thank you very much.